John and Amanda, I know you have prepped for medical and have medical training. With that, what do you want or wish to be better prepared for medically, and what advanced medical training do you feel you are lacking or would you like to have? And yes, hint, hint, I can help. I'd like to be able to do like cut downs. I'd like to be able to reach in there and clamp off bleeding valves. Like if something happened to Austin, I'd like to be able to put my hand inside, like by his heart, and hemostat that.
I think it's just so you can have a big puppet, though.
I have
That's
a puppet.
exactly.
I have a puppet right here. We're lacking on everything, man. I have folding lid bins. I have medical contents, right? But not in any organized manner. Everything's in packages. I have tons of tourniquets still in the packaging. They're not staged. I had a guy who was a long time ago. I have a guy that was a 18 Delta, and they were overseas, and they mailed us. I don't even know how they dropped them off. We got mailed pallets. I think they were like 4 by 4 feet at the old shop, and they were full of SF IFAC reload kits, right? So we got all these hundreds of these packages that came with 2 quick clots, a tourniquet, some bandaging, packs of medications that were blister packed, basic, like Risofen and stuff like that, for gut wounds and medical punctures and things like that. So we have tons of that stuff, but it's not staged in any manner. I mean, we have vehicle med bags in the trucks, and everything is pretty well staged there. We're definitely lacking in medical training. The kids have all been through every class. Did you do intermediate action medical?
I've done it like 2 or 3 times.
But it's been a long time. I mean, it's like a bicycle. Like you still have it, but are you as fast as you could be doing it?
I would like to learn how to do stitches, because I think that's an important skill. I want to know how to run an IV, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to do that at some point in time. And when all the power goes off, everybody's going to be fucking, so people are going to get pregnant, and we're going to have to deliver babies, and I'm really not looking forward to that. But that's a skill I don't have.
Are they not doing that anyways?
Right. Well, when you don't have
I think there's
job,
dudes that do not have any pussy, and they think they're just going to go claim some pussy when the power goes out.
Well, yeah, when they are part of the zombie biker gangs.
They're gonna claim some fucking bullets.
I don't know. I was gonna say, like, I kind of feel like if you can't get a woman, then you're not gonna be leading anything when the shit hits the fan. Like if you can't talk a girl into hanging out with you, at least,
right?
Well, they think they're gonna be like, "Yo, baby, I got a handful of dog food. Yeah. I know you look pretty hungry.
Here's this can that has no label on it, and it's 5 years expired. Are you hungry?
Smell this. Does it smell like? I would like to have some chloroform.
That would be fun.
I would like to have some roofies.
I know how to make it.
You know how to make chloroform? What do you make it from?
It's peroxide and bleach, I think.
It's not. I promise it's not. I promise you, you're about to kill some motherfucker. You might sedate them, but they're not waking up.
What's the thing where it combusts? It's like ammonia and something.
Ammonia and bleach will combust.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
it
gives off toxic fumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say to Chuck was, if we're playing What Do We Want, why not just a fully stocked ambulance?
So an ambulance would be nice, but I mean, you can buy vehicle. I actually would like to have some of the more current tents, some of the inflated tents, but you can get they're like super rubberized. They'll stay out in the sun for years. They're also super heavy. It takes multiple dudes, but like a field hospital, like a surgical suite, and then you can buy like full medical kits. But I think medical stuff is so far beyond where people realize it is, right? They have freeze-dried blood, they have freeze-dried plasma now at this point. The stuff that guys are deploying with is like, it would blow your mind if you even knew what was out there compared to what's available on Amazon, for instance.
Well, even just the stuff to like somebody who isn't around the military, just the stuff to keep those guys awake would be fun to have,
so they have little Pelican boxes that actually have refrigerant in them, so it keeps medications at a stable temperature. As far as keeping people awake, like they were given Atarax. It's a super clean antihistamine.
Mm-hmm.
So the pilots could come back from flying sorties and rack out for 30 minutes, but actually operate as though they'd had 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yes,
and
that
then
sounds like fun.
And then there's a lot of other chemicals also.
Very useful.
Yes.
And you just need to have those conversations. A lot of them are narcolepsy drugs. Now,
Yeah.
during Nazi Germany and even our troops, we were using methamphetamines, and we still currently use products that are like methamphetamines.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Adderall says methamphetamine salts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, and some people will function better with Adderall. Most people will just chew the shit out of the side of their mouth, have fucking sores in their mouth, and while they are doing a lot more of this, they're not really accomplishing anything more.
That's the thing with any, like, there's no trick to being physically better if you don't want to put in the work. You know,
Right.
Like if you're not the type of person that's gonna go and get shit done, those drugs aren't gonna help you because you'll just be taking apart the VCR.
You will. You'll have a lot of electric components that are never going back together.
Yeah.
But what you want to look into is neurotropics. And when you start going and pursuing that, you will find that there is product available that you can use. You can try it on yourself and see which ones work for you. Aracetam, aniracetam, those are two separate ones. Nuvigil, Provigil, those are Nuvigil is actually modafinil, and modafinil is as close as you can probably get to a limitless pill at this point. And a lot of them you can actually mix in. You can add caffeine on top of those also and get different effects with those. And they work differently with different people. But with that being said, like if you look at Rhonda Kirkpatrick speak on the subject, she's like, we don't know what the 20-year long term on this is. Like, you're literally rewiring neural pathways, and it might have a very detrimental effect in the future that we just don't know because it's just newer things. So I guess you just have to ask yourself, are you willing to take the risk to perform at a higher level from age 30 to 50 and maybe be completely fucked at age 60 to 80? Like, you don't know. You don't know.
Brain shit is scary shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't want to lose your brain function.
Like, there was some discussion a couple of months ago about my estrogen levels. Like, I had been operating at almost a 0 estrogen level. And when my guy got my labs, he said, John's estrogen is up a little, which is good because that will prevent dementia, late onset dementia at a later age. You want a little bit of estrogen to protect from that. And I had never heard that before. That had never even been mentioned.
He actually told me that once I hit 45, he's going to start raising mine.
Your estrogen?
My estrogen, because my estrogen is so low.
Because
I don't make it.
Yeah, but like, do you have a specific reason, or is it just because you're
for the same reason? It's for preventing dementia and preventing loss of bone density.
You just happen to not make it, or is it like an age thing or something?
So I went through menopause at 35, and I've been on hormone therapy since then.
It's because I put so much testosterone in there.
I mean, it's very well possible. But I started my period when I was like 9. I was a full 34 C cup at 9, so I just matured much earlier than most women do. And my doctor said basically you just used all your hormones up. It's just gone.
When you're talking to your guy about getting back on estrogen, is there concern for like breast cancer and stuff like that? Has he brought that up?
No, because it's going to be a bioidentical estrogen, which prevents you from having that kind of a risk.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people, in the past have ended up on chemical estrogen, and they end up with an increased risk for breast cancer because it's fake. It's the same as when you go on like a birth control pill and you have all these weird side effects. It's because it's synthetic, and so your body is trying to process it and it can't.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was the first thing they tried with me when they figured out that I was menopausal, was, here, take this birth control because it will add some estrogen back into your body. And after a year, I was like, well, I'm 30 pounds heavier now, and it's still not fixing anything. So that's when I went into actual hormone therapy. But he'll just add in some estrogen.
So that's like something that I think about, because everybody on my side of the family has died of cancer, and everybody on her side of the family has really big boobs. Right. So we've got two girls that half of their family has died of cancer, and the other half is gonna they're gonna have big boobs. So I try to keep them away from like BPA and all that stuff.
Keep them away from anything that comes through a fucking drive-through window.
Yes.
Like, so that's what I was gonna say.
Just keep them away from fucking soy.
They need to stay away from anything with plastic. Anything that it may be genetic. Those things may be genetic, but if you live in a specific way, those genes won't necessarily develop. So they might have a precursor for it, but whatever they're putting in their body doesn't make it start.
Yeah.
There's always
saying there's things that would help it. So like the thing with us when we recently we haven't been, but we try to stay off of sugar,
right?
Because sugar feeds cancer cells.
Yes, it does.
Well, so it feeds inflammation.
Yeah. So like you have a lower chance of having cancer grow in you if you have less sugar.
That's what they say about the alkaline water.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
they're super expensive. They make a machine.
Oh,
you buy a machine that fucking cleans and turns all your shit out.
There was a lady here at SRF that had
that.
Yeah.
I've seen them, but
Reed's mom
makes them too, or has them.
That's cool.
Yeah, that lady told me that this was chemically made alkaline, and it's not really alkaline, and it's not doing me any good. And she has a machine, and it does it through electricity, and I was like,
did she look like she uses deodorant?
No.
Does she have hairy armpits?
Probably.
Could you smell her vagina from 5 feet away?
I couldn't, because thankfully I can't smell shit.
Hopefully she's not watching this video. I don't know who it is, but Caleb Mays. John, it's been a while since I've been on here. Several months long YouTube hiatus are great for the soul. I agree with you. My wife and I are considering getting started with chickens. Would you change anything about your coops, pens, if you were to start over? No, our shit works pretty good. If anything, I have too many chickens, and there's a load, right, with other chickens bullying, so chickens kind of leave the pen. My birds know they can fly. So you can clip a bird's wings and it will still half flap up onto the top of the cattle panel, which is 4 feet tall, I think. So they can get out. If you start with baby chickens and you confine them, they will not leave that area. So I have birds every morning, if you've seen on some of the videos, when I come through with a four-wheeler, there'll be 100 birds sitting there. And as I drive slowly up the hill, they'll all start flying, and the turkeys will hop fly, and it's pretty cool to see. Those chickens, while they're bored during the day, are digging through my mulch piles around my trees and have literally unearthed some of the trees we planted and toppled them over, right? So confine them. I've probably got 50 birds in that chicken tractor up there that have all just now started. They're starting to lay right now. And I bought barred rocks and Brahmas with the intention of setting up another pen, probably 20 by 50, and putting a 10 by 10 dog kennel and keeping the Brahmas separate and keeping the barred rocks separate and keeping the Americanas separate. So I have a pure line of birds. And I brought in I think I bought like 20 hens and 2 roosters with the intention of whichever rooster was the strongest, because roosters will pick all the tail feathers out of the other roosters. So whichever one is the biggest one, that's the one that gets to be the breeder, and the other one gets killed and fed for dog food. So I did that with the intention that we could take the eggs, knowing they're fertilized, and hatch them out. So we could actually build chickens ourselves or sell fertilized eggs, because you can buy an incubator for $35. You can buy a cheapy one. You can buy an incredibly advanced incubator that does all the shit for you and just shits out little chickens for between $300 and $600. So, and the reason I did this is when everybody was talking bird flu 2 years ago, and then it has popped back up, Obion County, which is close here, had a case where the FDA or whoever came through and actually euthanized all this guy's birds. Now, he had several birds acting crazy one day and then a bunch of dead the next. So obviously there was something there. So my intention was to set up a 20 by 50 cattle panel T-post with just a walk-in gate, dog kennel inside with the tarps like we use for them to coop up in and have nest boxes in, But when it rains real bad or storms, they'll go in there and just get up and kind of sit there and wait the storm out. So it gives them weather protection. But I could always take that and put some poles up in the middle. They could be phone poles or whatever kind of poles, and then we could run aerial poultry netting over that. So you use it for hawk protection, but they also use it for like raising game birds. When you're raising pheasants and quail and stuff, that's where these birds live as you're growing them. And then you grab 12 and you take them out and put them in the field, and then the guys with the shotguns shoot these birds. So we could contain them in that wild birds couldn't get to our birds. Now, I mean, they could fly over and shit. You have the possibility, if it's even real. Like, I'm still not, I don't know. But that's why we brought in this, was with that intention. We have not set those up. I need to set them up, and which means I need to take the 3 pins that we currently have and maneuver them in a different direction. So, because you have to look at everything, the more you have to move around things, the more time it takes things. And the biggest thing, when you really start dragging hose, I have water in a line at the base of the hill, halfway up the hill by the rabbits, and at the top of the hill. I don't want to trench in and run more water lines and stuff, so I have 200 feet of hose, and I drag that. And when you're dragging it around things, it gets caught on things, and it takes longer to do things. So I'm going to probably redo my bird runs so that I can have 10 of them. They'll be a little smaller than they are, but they'll be more intensively managed, and we'll use deep mulch in there, so there'll be lesser birds. So we might have, 6 hens with a rooster of just that type of bird, so that we can continue on and breed those birds should something happen where they come through and everybody loses their birds or something. We'll have we'll have them more confined. Now, if you took the birds we currently have right now and confined them, they'll just sit there like they're fucking miserable for the rest of their life because they've already tasted freedom. But they are damaging like the plantings and stuff that we put in there. So that's the only thing I would change. As far as you're considering, stop considering and go get some fucking chickens. You can buy baby chicks right now. I don't know where you're at. We could go to Rural King right now. We could probably still go to Tractor Supply right now and buy some chicks. And the beauty of buying chicks is you can put them in a tub, a trough, an aquarium. You could literally put them in anything with a little heat lamp, and you give them food and water, and you've got about 6 weeks till them little motherfuckers start flying out of there. When they start flying out of there, you want to confine them in something a little larger, and that's when we start taking them outside, start turning the heat lamp off, start hardening them off. Now, I don't know what your winter looks like. We've got winter coming. I have a chicken over here that's sitting on like 20 eggs. There's 4 different color eggs. The problem is, I don't mind that she's about to hatch out some eggs, but winter is coming. So once they're hatched out, that means she'll probably take care of them too. But when you have a chicken that has gone rogue and lays eggs, the other chickens go rogue and also lays eggs. So if you have chickens laying eggs places you're not aware of, you are paying for a pet because you are not getting a byproduct back from that pet. I'm about to take that entire nest tomorrow and crack all those eggs open over dog food because I don't want her to have chicks right now. I just grabbed the chicken that's in the rabbit pen. A chicken got in there, laid eggs in a nest box I had sitting there for the rabbits, and we got these 2 chicks now. And they have totally just put the rabbit house into a disarray. There's usually a nice row of rabbit poop. You would think that we we'd mounded it up every day. And this chicken and these 2 chicks everything is unlevel. There's shit. It's a fucking mess in there. So I caught her and put her in a 10 by 10 dog kennel locked up today. She's not happy. My next move, if she gets out of that, I'm going to kill that chicken tomorrow and just feed it to a dog. No,
this one. So the answer is just go buy the damn chicks.
Yeah, go get the chickens.
And if at some point in time you're like, fuck this, I hate this, just dispatch them and eat them.
Or just pull its head off and put it in the dumpster.
Whatever.
Throw it over the fence. Your neighbor's dog will eat it.
Like chicks are inexpensive. They're a couple bucks maybe.
Yeah, and if you buy them in quantity, they're $1.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't need a whole lot of infrastructure while they're growing up from chicks. That gives you time to put something together.
And if you go to Tractor Supply, they get their birds on Tuesday, I think. If you go in there on Friday, and just talk to the manager and be like, hey, is there any discount on these? Because they got more birds coming. They need to get rid of those. And what they don't tell you a lot of time is they just fucking give them away or they kill them.
I saw on TikTok that if you go in on a Friday and say that
I want all of them.
Yeah, I'll take everything that you have. They'll give them to you for like 25 cents.
Yeah,
a piece.
I've got them for $1. I've got them for 50 cents a piece. Yeah. And
Don't
ducks. Don't
buy
ducks.
fucking ducks.
Yeah. Unless, I mean, some people like ducks. If you come here, I'll give you 40 ducks.
Why the ducks? Because last time I asked you about the guineas and you had a good answer.
So we got ducks. We got everything we could. At the very beginning, COVID, we're like, okay, maybe this is real. We went to Walmart. We bought all the plants we could get. We brought in more beds. We planted that same day, right? They came here. We planted 10, 15 raised beds. We went to Tractor Supply, bought all the birds they had, right? So I bought every egg layer they had. We bought ducks because we're like, this might be real. Like maybe
we might have to eat this.
Yeah, we bought them because we were going to eat them.
So they are pretty much just pets now.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and if you can find them, see, we're not getting a lot of eggs. I just took 5 eggs out of a duck nest today and gave them to the dogs. If you can find them where they can't get out, they have to lay eggs in there. And we have chickens in there, and I'm sure the chickens are eating the duck eggs. So you could totally use duck eggs as you do chicken eggs. You'll actually probably like them better.
But you don't keep them separate from the boy ducks, right? So you don't
Correct.
know if those are fertilized or not.
Oh, they're fertilized.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you can't just say
It
this
is
Ducks are super rapey.
It is super rapey.
Super rapey.
Like, you saw it when we were up there with the girls.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, there's one right there. Yeah, they have, like, there is no consensual sex in the fucking
So if
poultry
you
world.
did want to eat those eggs every day, you should probably keep them separate.
So here's the thing. Okay, a fertilized egg,
Uh-huh.
when you crack it open, there might be a little dot or a little bit of blood in there.
Uh-huh.
Nobody would ever know if I
Okay.
cooked it and fed it to you. You can take...
It doesn't taste different.
You have about 30 days, I think. I think it's 30. You can gather up fertilized eggs for 30 days, and the incubation period doesn't start until you put them in an incubator.
I did not know that.
Mhm.
I don't know what I thought, but I just assumed there was a little duck in there. You know,
No,
like,
so
you're
and
like a
once she
growing
starts
little
sitting,
duck.
once she starts sitting,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think she still continues to lay eggs, but other birds will also come and lay eggs in the nest while she's gone, and she'll sit. That's why once those eggs hatch, those first ones that were in there when she started sitting, the ones added on the back end, they don't ever come to date. They don't, because she doesn't continue to sit once they start hatching. But if you were able to somehow take them at that point and incubate them for a few more days or a week, they would hatch out. They've already started.
That's interesting.
Those are the ones you don't want to eat because there's definitely some bird in there somewhere.
Yeah. Andrea Snow, John and Amanda, and keep in mind those eggs, your dogs can eat everything. As rotted, as stinky as it is. If your dogs, when your dogs get out and leave your property, that has never happened here, luckily. They are eating roadkill. They are eating poop. They are licking other dogs' assholes. Like, you can feed anything that you consider inedible to you, your animals can eat.
I came across, back to TikTok real quick, I came across this channel, and the comments are what got me stuck on it. It's just a dog, I can't even remember what kind of breed it is, but it looks like it could be like a pit bull or something, sitting at a table, getting fed raw meat. There's no words, he just eats chicken and beef. And the people in the comments go nuts about how they're killing that dog. He's eating chicken bones. Like, that needs to
People
be
don't know.
And
So
I bet you his coat is fucking beautiful.
and you can feed your dog chicken bones. You can feed your dog any bones. Do not feed your dog any cooked bones. That's when they become brittle and shatter. Chicken bones are very rubbery when they're raw. They can eat every single piece of the animal.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started working here, and now that I know that, I think it's hilarious how other people panic.
We had a storm last night, and one of those Cornish crosses was dead this morning.
Was that the first time?
We had some die early on, but yeah, this is the first out of these 40 that remain. They're supposed to, they're so heavy their legs will snap. You know, you hear that at
Or they'll have a
12
heart attack.
weeks, or they'll have a heart attack. We went through 105 degree weather, and these birds were 10 pounds. That bird was almost 14 pounds today.
That's crazy.
I threw it over there, and I guarantee you go out there, there's feathers everywhere, and there's no chicken back there. Magnus ate every bit of it. I killed a couple of rabbits today. I gave one to the Pyrenees, and I gave one to Hera. And Tad's like, "Is that a rabbit?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, that's what that is. She's eating the rabbit. Andrea Snow, John and Amanda, hope this finds you both doing well. The wee one is almost staying in his bed, so that is a win-win. There will be 2 questions. One for John and one for Amanda. Okay, so as far as the baby staying in the bed, you can kennel that little motherfucker. Like, you can put them in like impact dog crates. They're really nice. You can put a dog bed. They're orthopedic. They're made by the same. You can put a pillow, and then she can't get out. And if you just close the doors, and if she's making a lot of noise, if you just put like mattresses against the walls and stuff, you won't hear nothing. And she'll cry herself to sleep, and she'll be broken. She'll do exactly what you want to do from then on. And she's used to it when you want to kennel her, when you go to the grocery store or whatever. Tell me that doesn't work.
I never put my kids in a kennel. I don't know.
We had 2 kids in a kennel out here. We had a kennel, and Curtis's kid was running around being an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
And Curtis's kid was 6, and Tyler's kid was 3, Hatley, and she jumped on Curtis's kid and beat the shit out of him.
Really?
Yeah. They were just, it was a dog kennel, but I mean, there was a bunch of kid toys, and there was mowed grass, and because we had a fire going, it just kept, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you tractor your grow outs through the winter, or you have grow out cages? So I would not tractor them through the winter, because here's what's going to happen. We get snow on the ground for, 30 days maybe, and they're shitting there. So, I mean, I could drag them to new snow, but at that point they're on snow and they don't have anywhere to go from the tractor. So I would not. We're starting to kill them off and feed them to the dogs right now. First one died last night and went to the dogs. Tomorrow, next day, I'll dispatch one and just start getting. I've also been getting rid of rabbits out of the tractors, because once the snow's on the ground, having the rabbits on the tractor is because they will eat all the clover and grass, and then I feed them less pellet. It's actually one more thing I have to do, though, having them out there. I have to give them water, I have to give them pellet. Once snow's on the ground, nowhere to move them. I'm moving them to snow. So now their paws are on snow through the wire. So once it snows, we will actually take all those rabbits, and they will all be dispatched, unless there's a couple of good bucks in there or a nice heavy female that I want to keep. I'm about to go through and totally do a cleaning and reorganize the rabbit house, and that will include getting rid of those rabbits that are on the ground right now, because winter's coming fast right now. The fig tree, I was over eating figs this morning, there's black spots, the leaves are curling up, the oak trees are all starting to drop leaves, winter's coming.
The peach tree that's right here, from the bottom all the way, there's only maybe 6 inches of green leaves at the top. All the rest of them are all brown.
So you know what I think happened?
Somebody poured something on there?
No, I think because I was spot spraying leaves, and I used that R42, and even though there's no wind or anything, I think it was just too close to the tree. I think I did that to that tree.
Dang it.
But it was past any time we were going to get any fruit off of it anyways.
Oh, yeah. It's time to replant that.
And then this one's for Amanda. As a mom who transitioned to outside the home work to working with kids, do you have any advice on how to stay organized and get things done? Today was just one of those days where I felt like a hamster stuck on a wheel, and I just couldn't get much done. Hold on. What was that? Andrea, you've been here. Does it really look like fucking anything here is organized?
So what I was going to say is, anything that you can do the night before, do it. Pull out your clothes, pull out the baby's clothes, pack the bag for the daycare or the school, pack the lunch, whatever those things are that hang you up in the morning. If you can do them the night before, get them done, and that way when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to worry about them. The other thing I was going to say is make a list. Put it on your cell phone, write it out, put it on your computer, whatever. But in the morning, when I know I have a really busy day, I will literally sit down and make a list. Okay, I know I have to do this, 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 and this. And then I'll look at it and be like, okay, so what do I not want to do? I don't want to do this one, so that's the one I'm going to do first and get it out of the way, because otherwise I'm going to spend the whole day worrying about how much I don't want to do this.
Do you watch my videos?
No, I don't watch your videos.
She watches my videos.
I don't watch his videos.
Jordan Peterson talks about make your bed.
Yes.
Just look that up. Look up make your bed. Just have your shit in order. If you do that, that's how you start your day. I think also a lot of parents are so worried focusing on the kids
that they forget their own shit.
Right. If like you and your husband, that's what's most important. Mm-hmm. The kids are second under that. The kids never come between you and your husband. The kids never come before you and your husband. As long as that works, the rest of it will work. Mm-hmm. But if you want to see a marriage get fucked, but you want to see a relationship get messed up, put the kids first. Like, and I know that's against what everybody tells you now, but you and your husband are the top of the pyramid, and the kids are below that always. I know I totally interrupted you. Go ahead with whatever else you got. You got anything else?
No, it literally was like, do what you can the night before and make a list, and the shit that you don't want to do that first so it's done and out of the way. From somebody who just got done with baby stuff, our youngest is turning 3 next month. What John just said, you won't realize, and you probably will disagree with him until you're out of the baby stage. Mm-hmm. Like we were just fine with our relationship, but we didn't realize how strained it was until we started getting more time alone. Right. You know, the kids are sleeping by themselves now. We have they go to bed at 8. We have the rest of the night, mm-hmm. and it's so much better than. And we didn't know that there was something wrong until that was taken away. Right. You know.
So our kids never slept with us. Like that. Mm-hmm. That was never a fucking option. Mm-hmm. You could scream and cry, and if you're screaming loud enough, like it's only gonna last 10 feet. Like they will stop that shit.
So that's my philosophy.
As soon as you reward it, you're gonna get a lot more of that behavior you don't want.
That's my philosophy too, and this is probably just a parent giving an excuse, but it's a legitimate one. They both have eczema, and when they sleep, they scratch so much that they wake up covered in blood. So somebody had to be there to stop them from scratching.
That's bullshit.
So I would cover them up. I would make them wear gloves.
We would tape socks to their hands, mm-hmm. and then there was like some things where it was like a shawl where you tucked your hand in, mm-hmm. and like that. All of that works, and all of that should have been what we did, but we didn't. You know,
your kids probably have a grain allergy.
They do.
Yeah, so remove that.
Yeah. And then they're the ones that like they get goldfish, and I can't stand it because I don't like any of that shit. But everything else, goldfish and the youngest one likes fruit snacks. But everything else is what we eat, and we don't buy junk food. Like, we'll go out if we feel like it or whatever.
So fruit snacks are fucking 100% sugar.
Yeah, it's pure sugar.
And the next 10 ingredients will be something that doesn't say sugar that's also sugar.
Yeah.
Like, just give them fucking real fruit. Like, I mean, at least it has fiber in it at that point.
Absolutely.
One of the fucking worst thing when the government gets involved in shit, right? What do they give women on EBT or WIC, right?
Juice.
Yeah.
So you have straight fucking sugar and corn syrup with no fucking fiber in it, no nutritional value.
So we got lucky even with milk, because milk that you buy at the store has sugar in it, and they don't even drink that. Like, it's just water for them. Mm-hmm. I think the youngest one will have milk every now and then because I see it, but because nobody else drinks it, but I see it in the house. But I don't see her drinking it, and I know the oldest one, water, and that's it, you know. But so like, you know, it's an excuse, is why we have an excuse to why we did it, and it sucks, but now it's over, you know.
The other thing is, everybody's like, oh, I'm just gonna let my baby do whatever my baby wants. No, fuck that shit. Put your
baby would be out in the road if we're really doing that.
Put your fucking kid on a schedule. So every night we eat dinner at this time, we take a bath, and we go to bed by 8 p.m. Every morning we get up at this time, we have breakfast, we have put them on a schedule, because that will allow them to know what is coming next. Even if they're 6 months old, they don't really understand that yet, but as they get older, 1, 2, 3, they're going to know, okay, I've had a bath and now it's time for bed, which means I'm going to go get in my own bed and I'm going to go to sleep.
You're going to wire them for that.
Right. You have, like, I know it's, you know, programming them or whatever, but to make your life easier, to make your parenting better, put them on a schedule and follow it, which means you have to follow it too, which very well might be easier for you in the way of, you know, organizing your day and making those changes so that you are more productive and less stressed out at the end of the day.
I think she has kids that are adults also. I think she's already raised some children. I think she has gone through this already.
That schedule thing is big because I was the one at home for the first half of this, and I was on a schedule, and that's the only way I could get through the day. Like, it's this time we have to do this.
Right.
Annie's a little more loosey-goosey with it, and I see that it stresses her out because it's not like, okay, it's 8 o'clock, we're eating breakfast until 9 or whatever it is. It's, let's have breakfast and then we'll go do school. Like, it's all loose, you know, and I can see how much worse it is on her.
Right, and I mean, certain kids do well with that, but for me, like, I need to have a schedule of, like, I do these things every day around this time, because it gives me, like, landmarks. Like, okay, so I've done this, and now I know this is the next step I need to take. For me, for my own self, that's what I need. And I think that a lot of kids need that, because if you're just, like, lackadaisical and you're just letting them do whatever they want, a lot of the time they have, like, anxiety about it, and they don't know how to make decisions, and, you know, they don't.
For our oldest has a motor, like, she's constantly going.
Yes, she is.
And, and if she doesn't know what's coming next, she's just going to ask for what's fun.
Right.
And if that happens over and over again, you just spent your entire day doing fun kid shit and nothing actually got done.
Yeah, your kids they all need to have chores. They need to have responsibility. Our kids, we never washed our kids' laundry.
Oh, no.
Fucking never. Like, our kids all did their own laundry. Our kids mostly washed their own dishes. We always had a problem with them picking up their rooms. That was always a problem.
That's my fault.
It is her fault.
It's my fault.
99% of the problems that you perceive your kids have, you instilled that or allowed it.
So I have to say this because this is just something
There's these
funny.
wasps again, man. We've killed, and the stink bugs are back.
Yep.
So, you know, you get your kids checked for allergies and stuff like that. And when I was a kid, I was allergic to everything that they could test for. But it never stopped me. Like,
We never got our kids tested for any allergies.
Well, so then the girls had to because they're trying to figure out how to treat this eczema thing. And the oldest one's allergic to grass. But before anybody told her she was allergic to grass, she was just fine. And one of her jobs is to make sure that the lawn is, like, all their shit is off of the lawn so I can mow it without messing anything up.
But I can't because I'm allergic to grass.
Well, this last weekend we were we had to talk loud because I was mowing, but we were screaming at each other, "I'm allergic to grass!" And I was like, "Pick up that stuff!" And Annie came and stopped us. I was like, "Why are you stopping me?" And she's like, "I know that you think this is just an excuse, so I don't want her to yell, 'I'm allergic to grass' again to you." Like, she was trying to save me from getting more pissed.
Right.
But it is an excuse. You can be allergic to grass and still do that stuff.
Right.
You
Wear
know?
shoes.
Don't roll around. Don't roll around in it.
Exactly. But she did roll around in it before somebody told her she was allergic, and she was just fine.
So look up grounding and earthing.
They're walking through the grass and stuff.
There really seems walking barefoot.
Yeah.
There seems to really be something to that. Take your shoes off, your entire family. I assume you have a nice lawn. I don't have any fucking lawn here, right? But I still, when I'm out there in the afternoon, I will take my shoes off and just walk around for 15 minutes. Just do that and see if anything changes in your life. Just try that for a week.
I've always heard about that. I've never tried it, but I've always heard
it's free and it's super easy to do. So
And
why not try it, you know?
Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive.